Hey everybody, sorry we're getting started a little late, but we're starting soon. I'm gonna let Mike take out his dog real quick, and that is a euphemism, by the way. Yeah, they can't hear you yet. I figured just in case you were gonna say something awful. I just gotta remember to unmute him, huh? Before we start. All right, Nick Johnston, ban him. He made a "Who Let the Dogs Out" reference. We can't have that here. Yeah, I got a good shirt on. Ooh, and I got a good chair. It's time to talk about video games with my Game Boy Color shirt and my Captain America chair. Hey, there was a okay. You since he's going to the bathroom is what he's really doing. I mean, he is going to take out his dog, but he also has to go pee. He said, and we're gonna put that out there for everybody. Let's make sure I didn't miss anything in the news. What happened this week? I got the Lucasfilm Games stuff right. That was they talked about Lucasfilm Games, Bethesda Machine Games making Indiana Jones, Ubisoft's making a Star Wars game, and then the EA side of that. I got let's see, I got Pokemon Snap's a release date, April 30th. Is that new? I'm going to go over the MPD top 20 for the year. I'm not going to do everything with MPD because there's a lot of news this week, and it was kind of what we expected it would be, right? Um, see, then we're going to talk a little bit about what we saw from the Bowser's Fury trailer. CDPR apologized again. Hogwarts Legacy delayed. What else? What other gray retro shirts do you have? Pablo, I'm looking at getting some more. I'll tell you that much. These are the two I have right now. I ordered them together, and I think there's other color options, but I like the heather gray. I got to be honest. This color looks good on me. Makes my eyes pop. Oh yeah, there's a Resident Evil showcase. Oh yeah, and they like that was like a new trailer this week, right? The one with the huge lady. I could just put Resident Evil lady. Man, I want her to kill me. I'll tell you that much. Hitman 3 hitting Nintendo. That is right. That's new as well. Hitman 3 Cloud Edition to the Nintendo Swatch. She's a big lady. I want her to squash me. I'm not saying we need to get into vor here on this channel, but I mean, I don't know how big she is, really. She looks pretty big, though. I want her to do stuff to me for some reason. I'm just like, Resident Evil 7 was too scary for me. I'm a big coward. I loved Resident Evil 4, and this game is definitely, obviously, with the village, the whole thing. They're trying to evoke that, but as soon as I see a giant witch lady, I'm in. I need to play a game that has a giant witch lady. Can she step on me? Oh yeah, there was some CES stuff, Arcade 1-Up, and Mike wrote the story on that, so I might just have him give me the rundown. I'm not going to make him talk about video cards. Yeah, Bloodborne PC win. That's a good question. I can hear him peeing. You guys can't, though. I should just unmute that. No, I won't do that to him. Ain't gonna do him like that. Question. So the Discord link should be in the description for this video if you're watching live. If you want to join the Discord, it's right there. Basically, the we don't have like a set list of rules yet, but if I don't like you, you just won't be in there for very long, and I'm sure we'll come up with some rules eventually. I think you kind of know what I mean there. No like line steppers. No stepping up. There will be no stepping up to the line and be like, oh, I'm not touching you. I'm not touching you. If you do anything like that, yeah, you're out immediately. I just, bum bum, poof, I'll fire you. Let's see. But that means with the Discord now kind of open to everybody, I'm going to do mostly each week asking or having people ask questions there. There's a Gamespeak Decides channel. Ask questions there. It's a little bit easier for me. Also, it'd be nice to like make sure that the people who are in this community get dibs on asking questions. But if you don't make it there for some reason, you could still ask questions live during the show with super chats. That's still going to be open. And yeah, I think if there's also the Patreon. I'm not going to talk about that this week, because I'm still setting that up. But that was for my How Games Make Money podcast. I'm spreading it out to here as well, and then that'll get you some kind of benefits as well. But I'll figure that out eventually. Hey, there's Mike.
Let's get the video open.
Okay. Talk.
All right. I hope you all appreciate this T-shirt of me and my brothers as kids that my mom got me for. Gosh, you can't hear me?
No, no. Now they can, because I just unmuted you.
Okay.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, because you haven't been responding. I asked you to talk, and then you took a minute. All right, talk now. I want to get your levels right.
Take a minute? I thought I responded very quickly.
Okay, you're too hot. With your very nice shirt. All right, yeah. No one cares about your shirt, because they only care about mine.
Apparently not, because you interrupted me. Well, my shirt has a picture of me as a kid. Do you know which one's me?
Let me get a closer look here. Let me get out of studio mode. I'm gonna say you are the one on the middle.
The one with brown hair?
No. The one on the right. Hey, Mike, I'm sorry, I don't know what hair color you have. I guess by your beard.
Well, I have a beard, Chef.
Oh, okay. He's gonna contact HR for that one. I don't blame him. All right, we should get started. Although now I feel like I have to go to the bathroom. You entertain these people while I go pee. I drink a lot of water today.
Let's see. How do let me get this thing popped up so I can read chat and look at this. Hi, everyone. How awful is Jeff? What are we drinking today? Classic Dortmunder Gold. Great Lakes. Great Lakes, though, not releasing my favorite beer this year, Holy Moses. So I'm starting a letter writing campaign. Man, Dragon Quest VII, it's not the longest game ever, but it feels like the longest game ever sometimes. I think I'm getting towards the end. I'm like 55 hours in. I'm on part 3 now. I like it, I guess, but man, it has a lot of the worst JRPG tropes. There are so many like boss fights you're supposed to lose. Final Fantasy characters rank list. Yeah, I want to just do a Final Fantasy game ranking thing also. Although party members would be fun. Jeff wouldn't really be able to contribute much, so he would just have to sit there and listen to me, which is fine. Yeah, 55 hours is okay for a JRPG, Nick, but I'm not done yet, and the pacing is just long. It's a weird game. I could go into a whole thing about it, but like it's very, you go to a new town and it's like a little mini thing in each town, so it's like you're constantly in this cycle. Yeah, the 3DS version. Best Final Fantasy character, Terra. Yes, but not, she's one of the best, but I hate when they like, when she's in newer things now, they give her that blonde hair. And I get it, like the concept art, she's blonde. But look, she has green hair, okay? The sprite has green hair. When I think of Terra, she has green hair. You already have Celis, who has blonde hair anyway, so like, yeah, I don't like Terra with blonde hair. I think that's weird. I like that there's someone in our chat named Milk who just said Milk. Did you see the new Elden Ring concept art? I don't even know if you guys are joking anymore.
All right, I'm back. All right, I got to remember to hit record. But other than that, I think we're good.
It would help.
You know what?
Up the FPD. I'm sure we're talking about that.
All right, hang on. Keep talking to me for one more second. Let me put the right music on here.
Right, yeah. Don't play the Christmas songs.
Yes.
We're done with those. You fool. I know it's kind
Intro,
of scary,
April 2018. That's right.
my arms and legs are hairy. I have hair all over my body. Till it all got burned off in that fire that took my nose and ears. Now I'm all disfigured from that goddamn fire. I fade me away, and now I live on the streets like a hobo, cause I'm a hobo now.
I mean, I prefer your song, but could you hear our song?
No, I don't hear it.
You don't hear it. Oh, because it's... No, you should be able... NVIDIA broadcast is probably the issue. Let me turn that off.
Is that a hair on my screen or somebody's avatar?
Who's calling? Oh, my phone is right there. It's the camera. That's the problem. It's a hot mess today, Mike, that we have going on here.
No, we got this. It's great.
Oh, okay. All right. If you say it, I believe you. All right.
Yeah, right. I said with so much enthusiasm.
All right, broadcast stream, Mike.
I woke up this morning. The milkman hadn't come.
You should hear music.
I do hear it now. We're okay.
And then let me check OBS. What mic am I using there?
I love milk. It's not really like anything else. I love milk.
They can hear it. Okay, Mike.
I think the milkman might be dead because I shot him in the head.
Mike.
Mm-hmm.
You ready?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm drinking Dortmunder Gold from Great Lakes in a can. They're putting everything in cans now, I'll tell you what.
I mean, it's the future, Mike. Aluminum.
Future sucks. Not because of the cans.
Not because of the cans. No, yeah.
The cans are fine.
Now we're dropping frames. We're just gonna have to deal with that. I'm gonna record this.
Are we dropping frames?
Yeah, it says we're dropping frames. I don't know if it drops audio as much, but now we've stopped dropping frames. So I'm just gonna record it. I've got 16 threads there. We can afford to spare some to record it as well as stream it. We're good. We're good. We have it. I just got to hit record and then hit the button and then we're good. So you ready?
Yes.
All right. We're going to start in 5, 4, 3. This is the wrong intro.
You're a mess.
I'm a mess. I still have the wrong music. It's supposed to duck there, but I can just duck it here. It's the internet. You're busy. Let's do this. Welcome to the Gamespeak Decides podcast. This is the podcast where we decide everything in the world of video games because we're qualified. Damn it. With me, as always, is Mike Minotti.
Do I just need to play it myself?
Yeah. This is so much better.
Ooh, that note. Sorry about that. Ooh.
I'm Jeff Grubb. I didn't even say my name. It's going to be, you know what it is? It's my daughter's birthday. Let's blame it on her. All right? I think we just
let's blame your daughter. I hope she has a bad birthday.
She's 4 years old, so she probably did something. I don't know.
Is she turning 4 or is she turning 5?
She's turning 4. No.
Oh,
yeah.
What do I know?
Yeah. She was 3 for a whole year, and now she's going to be 4. Today's episode.
That's how that works. Yes.
It turns out I'm still learning it, though. I don't really get it quite yet. News, games. There's a lot of news this week.
Yeah, it started happening finally.
Yeah, it's like everyone had taken a really long break, and now everyone's back and like has a lot to say. I'm excited about really to talk about a lot of it because a lot of it's like some pretty cool stuff that I've been waiting for. But first, thank you for joining us. You can get more from Mike and me at gamesbeat.com. If you have something to share with us, email the podcast at games+podcast@venturebeat.com or join our Discord. I said I would set this up last week. I set it up. You can find the link in the description for this YouTube video if you're watching on YouTube.
Wait, have I been invited to the Discord? We have a Discord?
He's very much in the Discord, everybody. He's a moderator, I think, even. Yeah, it's mine. Dang. The Jeff Grubb's Games Mess.
Oh, you just rebranded it.
Yeah, that's too much work to start a new one. Yeah, so Mike's there. You could come out and just yell at Mike. I even changed his name, I think. Everyone should just see him as Mike Minotti instead of Tokoto, so it's very easy to find him.
Wow, rude.
Yeah, and the link is in the description. It's also in the description or the more content thing. If you swipe over on your podcast player, you'll find it there as well. Thank you to Carlos Ain, who is Insane in the Ray Music on YouTube for the use of our theme song, and Mike's beautiful rendition as well. If you're listening to this on the website Player Widget, you can of course subscribe to the audio version wherever you find podcasts. And if you like the show, rate us. It helps people find it. All right. We do have a lot to go over, Mike. I guess we could try to do the short version of some of these stories.
Look what I got. I got my Ori music box. Justice has been served. Beautiful.
I'm glad you got one.
Oh baby,
It's really nice. It's like really
it's a
pretty.
Horcrux for me now.
Oh, really? You've attached
Yeah,
yourself to it, your soul to it. Good.
yeah,
Um, I keep wanting to go back to play that game, but then there's like really coming up fast, like starting to be too many games that I want to play. I know people are
yeah.
like, oh, there's nothing
Happening.
coming out, but like for me, there is. All right. We should probably just get started with this news though, because there is a lot.
Hmm.
Personally, I want to start with Lucasfilm Games. They had a lot of stuff happening this week. I guess the big one is they rebranded as, like, hey, we are Lucasfilm Games again, which is what they were before they were LucasArts. And
Right, and then they were nothing, and
right,
now they actually do have like a name again.
yes,
But yeah, it's interesting. I mean, I am way more nostalgic for LucasArts than I am for Lucasfilm Games myself. But I mean, it almost makes more sense, right? Because it's very clearly going to be Star Wars, Indiana Jones. Like, it's not like they're bringing back Monkey Island and Grim Fandango and stuff like that.
yeah. I think in one of the quotes from the people at Lucasfilm Games, they were like, "We're gonna try to do right by the legacy of Lucasfilm Games." And I don't know if that necessarily means Monkey Island, but I think it must mean more than Star Wars, right? Obviously, it means more than
Maybe
Star
not.
Wars.
Maybe not.
Yeah,
I mean, because yeah, it was still Lucasfilm Games when Monkey Island 1 came out. Like, it became LucasArts pretty shortly after that. So I don't know.
yeah,
Maybe in 10 years they'll try to make us excited by rebranding it again to LucasArts. I don't know.
yeah, yeah. Good point. That does kind of feel like a little bit of what's happening here. Like, I think we'll go over the bigger picture stuff after we talk about some of these other points. Ubisoft is making a Star Wars game. EA is still making Star Wars games, and Bethesda is the publisher. Machine Games, the developer, announced they're working on an Indiana Jones game. So I guess what's your take on all of that before I kind of talk about some of the other stuff?
I mean,
thinking about with Disney?
the Machine Games Indiana Jones thing is the most exciting because that
Yeah.
was. I don't think any of us really thought we were going to get another AAA Indiana Jones game anytime soon. And this is the ideal developer for it, right? Like, yeah, the
Mhm.
guys who made Wolfenstein, the new, like that is absolutely perfect. I'm curious if it's going to be something like an Uncharted or if they're going to do something more like their Wolfenstein games that's first person. Either way, super excited to see more of that. It seems like it's a good deal away still. Still seems closer than the Ubisoft thing, which presumably isn't coming out till 2023 at least, because that's when the EA exclusivity thing expires, right?
Yes, I think that sounds right. Although Ubisoft and EA, or I'm sorry, Ubisoft and Lucasfilm said that they've been working on this deal for a while. I had heard separately they've been working on it for at least a year. There's some like other reporting out there that backs that up. Um, so things have probably moved along, but who knows? Like if that was mostly contract negotiations and like saying like, hey, make sure that everything we're doing here is okay with like EA up until the point that the exclusivity deal expires, and then we can release the game right away. Or if that'll be bad, if they'll be mad if we do that.
How does EA feel about this? I mean, it seems like obviously if they had done a great job, they would have just kept the exclusivity, right?
Right. I think to me this really just says this is what EA wants as well. Especially with the like the Ubisoft deal getting announced this early, it must be what EA wants as well. But you could just tell, right, by like the way Squadrons came out as sort of like they were working on something bigger. Then they're like, no, let's really shrink it down and reduce it so we can get something out by holiday 2020. And the thing that came out was a $40 shrunken experience, and
Right.
it's like still good. It's still well made.
Yeah,
But
people like Squadrons, but it still feels like an afterthought to everybody, or even the people who like it treat it like an afterthought. Right?
yeah,
People are not talking about that much.
right. And it's like clearly they just wanted to get something out rather than do like a huge investment in Star Wars. And to me, that's like a big signifier that that's where EA is at with this deal. And we know that the current leadership of Electronic Arts inherited this deal. It happened in like the interim between like Riccatello and Andrew Wilson. So yeah, and the games that the games that they released were also not what Disney wanted. Now, I mean, from Disney's point of view for all this stuff, I mean, you know better than anyone that they're hurting from the lack of the the parks being closed.
Oh gosh, yeah. I mean,
movies.
Disney's they're so funny because they always ebb and flow on how much they care about games, and they were at like an all-time low with engagement in games, right when having a game presence would have really helped them
Yeah.
at a time where theme parks and media is just kind of losing money like crazy for them right now, and games are huge. And I'm sure that there's somebody in there who's saying it would have been nice if we had a games division that could have brought in a lot more money than just, the few mobile games we have and a few of the licensed things we have. So it could be that we're going to see another surge in them suddenly caring about games again now, and it might be too, Johnny too lately, and then they don't
Yeah.
work out, and then in 5 years we're back down here again. But yeah, it's always been like this with Disney. Like the last big time it was up was when we had like Epic Mickey, and kind of ended with the whole Disney Infinity thing, right?
Right.
And then once that was done was when we were like, all right, we're back down here.
Yep. I mean, clearly coming out of 2020, they're looking around, seeing everyone making a ton of money in games. And, they know that digital media can do well because Disney Plus, like they're really throwing themselves into that. And I think kind of gaming sits right alongside streaming in like the mind of people who both create content and the people who consume content. Like I think a lot of, gamers consider streaming media like a big part of their media diet. Like those things are linked together. Like you watch, Disney Plus on your Xbox or whatever. And I think they're like, well, we could have really had a 1-2 hit if we had the games, and we just didn't. We had some stuff, Marvel's of Interest, which has had its issues, but it's, I think they realized they can't let the missteps be what guides them here. They clearly see that there could be a huge amount of money coming in from games from everyone else really nailing it, and them not. So, to me, this really feels like them feeling someone inside there. And, we know that they hired John T. Drake a while ago. And, he was the guy that like oversaw PSVR at Sony, or at least a lot of like the third party deals with Sony. And they hired him before this stuff happened. But he was clearly instrumental in getting all this stuff put together. And maybe like he was able to really make it, to rush it, especially like the Ubisoft deal, because of what was happening and the lack of games that Disney has. But like you said, I'm definitely most excited for what Machine Games is going to do with Indiana Jones. I hope they still come out with Wolfenstein 3 though.
I mean, I'm okay if there's like a little, we'll do this and then we'll do that.
Right.
So Jedi Fallen Order 2 is still going to happen. Is there going to be a Battlefront 3? I thought I saw some people saying that there was like rumors that there was like voice recordings or something. I don't know if there's anything to that.
I don't know for sure, but my hunch here is that I think every EA Star Wars game pretty much is going to continue. All the series are going, like we'll get another Battlefront. That was like it was like the biggest game that they showed in the Lucasfilm Games trailer, like that earlier this week. It's like, oh, look at Lucasfilm Games, and it was like 3 minutes or whatever, and a minute and a half was Battlefront 2. Oh, hello, puppy.
Penny thinks she's here, so
I was going to mute him, but he muted himself. So yeah, I think that Battlefront seems very like. I mean, obviously they're going to do Fallen Order 2, but the way it's structured, the way it seems like to me is EA will get to make all like Ubisoft might even have a little bit of exclusivity, but if EA has a franchise that involves Star Wars, they will get have every right to continue making that, and I think they have an intent to do that as well. I think that EA doesn't want to invest a lot in new games, like totally new games. They're not necessarily, and I think that was their big problem with Star Wars. Is like it takes a lot for them to get something off the ground. They don't have a lot of faith that it's going to work out. And once it does, they're like, okay, well, we'll see that through and we'll kind of run that into the ground. But I don't know if, and I think they're fine with doing that. And they have the games now. They have like a couple like Squadrons, Fallen Order, and Battlefront. They'll keep those going. Was there another one? Was there another Star Wars game that they did? No, they just did 2 Battlefronts.
They did 2 Battlefronts, Fallen Order, Squadrons. I mean, they canceled a bunch of them.
Right.
I mean, they have their couple mobile things, but yeah.
Right. Yeah.
I'm like the same. I almost feel like I'm forgetting something. I couldn't believe when this happened. There's still people who are like, "Oh, they're gonna bring back Star Wars, whatever that number was."
13, yeah.
Yeah, I was like, guys, that was so long ago. Like, let go.
Yeah. I get why people are excited for that sort of thing, but that's definitely not going to happen. A game like that, maybe. But I mean, Ubisoft is definitely going to probably just make the Division with Star Wars, and I know you're okay with that.
I hope so. That's what I just want. Well, in their thing, they kind of try to make it sound like it maybe wouldn't be that, but I basically just want a Division with like Mandalorians instead of like backpack militant people, right? It would just be way better.
Yeah, I mean, for that type of game, that's kind of what I would want. I think, and I think they could totally let you, spec out your own bounty hunter or Mandalorian or whatever. They'll probably set it in the same
Something's
timeline as the Mandalorian
got
because
something's got to be Mandalorian-ish coming in, right?
yes,
Come on.
and I mean it makes sense because the show's very popular, but also like there's a lot you can do with that in a game.
Right.
Like
It makes it's very popular, and it's been popular now for a year and some months. So if this deal's been going on for about a year, like obviously, if you're going to Ubisoft and saying you want to make a game on Star Wars, what would be the first thing to come to mind at that point?
yeah, yeah, yes, absolutely, yes, you're absolutely right there. But yeah, I mean,
Vader Immortal, was that EA?
no, that
Not
was
actually,
I think
right?
it was
Yeah, some VR.
Some Oculus deal, yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. I'm excited. I think Ubisoft will probably get this game out and then have some other stuff in the works. I hope that Lucasfilm Games does a lot more with Star Wars games. I hope they make stuff, a lot of smaller stuff. Just make a lot more games.
Yeah, we talked about this before. Like my favorite era of Star Wars games was like when the prequels were coming out, and after that, where we just had a ton of games for like that GameCube, PlayStation 2 generation, and like not all of them were very good. Not even that many of them were great, but
Right.
enough of them were, and a lot of them were fun. It was just kind of interesting.
We're
They took a lot of swings.
exactly, yeah, and I think it's a bummer. Like I get that the games are a lot more expensive to make these days, and that's what
Mhm.
happens. So that's why we get a lot fewer games. But it's like this new publishing initiative that Lucasfilm has, the High Republic. I'm reading the first book now. I'm listening to the book on tape because I got it through the Libby app. Which if you have like a local library you haven't been able to go to in a long time, download the Libby app. It's great. I've been using it nonstop during the pandemic, and I got the new Star Wars: The High Republic book through that, and it's really good. But it's like when they did like a publishing initiative or like a multimedia initiative before, it was like Shadows of the Empire, and that was books, games. They had a big game, and then they had like the music album stuff like that. They did like a lot, and one of the things was a game. And they just wouldn't do that anymore because the game's so expensive to make. It takes so much. But I'm like, actually, just work with an indie developer and make a smaller game based on this stuff. I will absolutely take that. And I guess the reason they don't do that is because even that is more expensive than paying a single author to write a book, I guess. And so the profit margins must be smaller.
Right.
It's
And they're so much
stinks.
more anal about things now. It'd
Yeah.
be like, it'd be like, oh, I'll get Yacht Club Games to make a Star Wars game. And like, would Yacht Club Games really enjoy that experience? I don't know.
Yeah, that's the other thing is like I was thinking like what is the really good RPG that came out last year or the year before okay. Either way, it like I'm like that's a developer I would love to work on that game. Oh, I don't even know if they would want to work on the Star Wars because that'd be like it'd be a hassle to work with Lucasfilm
The
and
hassle, it would be a property you wouldn't really own by the end of it,
right.
right? Like that's the thing with we all think about KOTOR and BioWare, like KOTOR's this beloved game by BioWare. They don't really get to like capitalize on that very much.
Right. And like
So that's
a lot of the studios
Mass Effect and Dragon Age are so much more valuable to
yes.
BioWare than KOTOR could ever be.
And like then you have to deal with the fans too, and the fans
Mhm.
have shown a propensity to be very vocal. Is the nice way of saying it. If things don't go their way, the way that they perceive is their way. So yeah, I don't necessarily know if this is even a reality or something that could happen. I just wish it could because I would like more Star Wars games, even if they were smaller. Yeah. Either way, like stuff's happening in Lucasfilm, stuff's happening with Star Wars, stuff's happening with Indiana Jones. I'm looking forward to it. It was a neat week to like see all these announcements happen.
Yeah.
Bam, bam, bam. It was
Mhm.
cool.
It's fun.
My next story here, I didn't do any of these in any particular order, so let's just read this next one. Pokemon Snap is arriving April 30th. I'm excited. I'm ready to play that game.
Sounds about right.
Yeah.
I'm still curious, like, if they're gonna do anything to make this a bit more. So, like, Pokemon Snap for Nintendo 64 was like the ultimate rental game,
Yeah.
right?
I associate it with Blockbuster very much.
Right, because I mean, there's not a whole lot of replayability there, which is fine. I don't think every game needs to be like that,
Yeah.
but it's just hard to imagine in 2021 that this game comes out and is that much similar to the Nintendo 64 version, right? There's got to be a bit more going on, and I'm just kind of curious to see what that could be.
Yeah. I got the MPD here. I think maybe we should save that for last because I added a bunch of other stories with the help of chat before the show started. So we'll do MPD last because I'm actually going to get my story up and go over the top 20 there. So, Mike, you wrote a couple stories this week that I wanted to talk to you about. CDPR apologized again. Tell me what they said there, and I think they offered a roadmap as well.
Yeah, I mean, it was the guy, the president, doing a video apology, the "I'm so sorry" thing. And he mentioned that it's all kind of on him and the leadership. It's not the fault of like the normal developers. He tried to explain why it happened, and it didn't make a whole ton of sense. He's basically saying that they didn't notice as many problems in their play testing, which some people took as them really throwing
Oh boy, yeah.
QA under the bus. Yeah, so which maybe at this point, I don't know why they apologize as much as they do. Like, obviously, like, no, I don't think people really want an apology, right?
No.
I think if he came out with the roadmap is nice, I would have just come out with the roadmap at this point. Like, what are you gonna say? Like, we know what you did. You released it too early because you wanted it to come out earlier than like it could have, right? So,
it reminds me of that PAX where Randy Pitchford was having trouble getting his presentation started. And it was like, he said something along the lines of, and maybe check it out. He's like, some of the lines like, well, I guess that's what you get when you're like, help is free or whatever, talking about the PAX enforcers who are all volunteers.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
he threw shade at like the tech people there.
Yeah. And it's like,
he immediately like tried to backtrack, like, you meant what you said.
Yeah.
Like, I know.
Yeah, you meant what you said. And it's, I guess that's the risk of like these kinds of apologies is like, you might have just accidentally just thrown some people under the bus that people are going to have a lot of empathy for. That's not great. But I think you're right. I really don't. I don't want an apology. I don't want to like think about this game at all until there is something new in regards to like, have you improved it? Like, have you actually made real improvements? That's the only thing I'm interested in.
There's another like update coming in within the next 10 days when they made this apology. So within a week now, and then like weeks after that, there will be another big one.
Right.
Then like the DLC is going to come out. And then after that, like you said, like second half of the year is when the next gen update comes out, which seems later than I would have thought for that.
I bet it was not the intended time frame. I bet that was first half of the year originally. Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean that's still what I'm honestly waiting for. I'm not touching this thing until that next gen update.
Let me ask is something that you might touch. Hitman 3 Cloud Edition coming to Nintendo Switch. Would you play Hitman 3 on the Switch over the cloud?
I don't know. I mean, I'd probably be happier just playing it on my Xbox. Like, I want to play that game in my living room anyways. I would try it out. I would be curious to try it.
Same.
If it had cross progression,
it
would be cool. Because then I could just go in bed, like, do, like, the replaying of the missions and stuff like that there. That'd be neat. But, Hitman 3 is kind of a game where you need to pick where you're going to play it. Where it's going to be your main thing. Because the character progression is so important. I don't want to split my attention between platforms. And even though I think it might be neat to see how this works on the Switch, I don't want to play it on there a lot.
Yeah, when Control came to the Switch with the cloud version, it gives you like a free 5 minutes before it asks if you like want to buy. So I'm sure they're like, just let us prove to you that it works, and it worked very well. It was actually, as far as I could tell, in that 5 minutes, the best a game had run over the cloud to the certain point in my room where sometimes I play games in bed. A lot of times, like, that spot is a little bit of a dead zone, and I get a lot of disconnects from like my local network when I'm trying to stream games from Steam or whatever, let alone Stadia or anything else. And then I tried this, and the Switch isn't necessarily known for its like super great wireless radio or whatever when it's connecting to Wi-Fi, and yet it was really well done. It worked really well. It was very smooth. I would imagine that Hitman 3 is using the same exact technology. I don't know if there's like a lot of vendors offering.
Yeah, I think it's pretty similar.
Yeah. So I'm pretty confident it will work, but you are right. I want to I already have like 2 ongoing progressions. Well, now I have 3 ongoing progressions in Hitman games. I have it like on PC on Steam. I have, excuse me, I'm about to sneeze. No, maybe not. Okay.
No.
I have a separate one on Xbox. And then I have a separate one on Epic Game Store, which is where Hitman 3 is coming out, where I'm reviewing the game. And I think you can move your Steam save to the Epic Game Store version, but that's not open yet. So I'm like, I have to play it for review. This stinks. but yeah, I don't want to start a fourth one. So if it was cross progression, I definitely would do that. But I'm already gonna like probably play through the game twice on a couple different platforms. I'm not gonna do it a third time.
Yeah.
Still though, it's cool that it's happening. And if it does work, if you people try it, from what I've played of Hitman 3 so far, like the first two levels that I can talk about, I'm very happy with that. So it's a good game. It'll be a good, if you haven't tried Hitman before, good place to jump in. Um, Another story you wrote, Arcade One Up had a bunch of new arcade machines that they revealed during CES. Any standouts there?
Yeah, the X-Men arcade game, because that's one of the more fun beat 'em ups. It's one of the classic Konami ones, and Konami did Turtles in Time, the Simpsons arcade game. The only thing is, like, some of you have probably seen like the 6-player version of the X-Men arcade game with the super widescreen. This is the 4-player version, but still, I think that's pretty neat. That's pretty exciting.
I agree.
I think the whole, obviously I have one now. The whole home arcade market is really exciting and fun stuff. There still like isn't like the two that I would be so excited about, I would think about getting one would be Street Fighter 3 Third Strike and Marvel vs. Capcom 2. Like at that point, I'd be into it. Like as much as I like X-Men arcade game, I don't know if I need to have that in my house.
Yeah. I want to clarify, so people are chat confused about what I said about Hitman 3. There's going to be a separate Hitman 3 like cloud save, or not cloud save, but like progression. Like it says, if you've played this on PC before, you can move that. So like that's what I'm talking about there. It's not like moving Steam saves to Epic. Like there's no universal thing to do that. And Hitman 3 is not coming to Steam until after, I'm sure, that the Epic deal expires. So probably a year from now. So if I said anything to the opposite, I apologize. Yeah, I think I do want that X-Man machine, but I also want the Outrun Arcade One Up thing that's been out for a while. Because they have like
You and your super scalers.
yeah, I love super scaling, man. So I'd have to decide there because I already have the Rampage machine, and there's enough room for one more big one, maybe. And I don't want to take any more
Rampage
space
is a
with it.
good one.
Yeah, Rampage is it's fun. The kids like
Yeah.
it. That's the big thing is like
Yeah.
they can
This
play
thing's
it.
got I've got Space Harrier on there. That's fun.
Ooh, I love Space Harrier. I love super scaling.
I like super scalers, man.
Yep.
Afterburner.
Yeah, Afterburner, another great one.
I'm
yeah.
just saying the name of super scalers.
You know,
I don't know
honestly, we should do a tier list of super scalar games.
super scalers. There you
Yeah.
go.
All right. So I've started bouncing around here. We saw what Bowser's Fury is. What do you think of that trailer?
I was surprised because I thought it would just be like like another like world of like 3D Mario World stages. Basically, instead it's one. It seems to be one big, very open stage, like almost more so like a Mario Odyssey thing, but was still with the Mario 3D World mechanics and enemies and gimmicks, right? And the whole thing is that you run around, you have to find, they're literally called cat shines, I think. Like they're called shines,
Huh.
which is, there's a lot of Mario Sunshine callbacks. You have Bowser Jr. with you and he has his paintbrush. In the kind of gimmick is that at night, like the giant Bowser comes out, and once you get all the cat shines, you can get the really big cat shine, and then you turn into the Goku Super Saiyan cat and you fight him.
It looks good.
So it seems more ambitious and weird than I thought, so I'm into it.
Yeah, I thought it would be a couple of stages, and I'm like the Bowser. It'll probably be like in the Bowser's Kingdom or something like that, and that's what I was expecting. And this looks just like there's a bunch of different stuff happening, and yeah, Bowser Jr. is just following you along. I'm like, I wonder how that works. I guess they did a longer video, which I watched really quickly, but my kids were yelling at me because they are.
Yeah.
Like my I have two girls. One girl has always liked Mario, the younger one, and Emmy, once the younger one started liking Mario, Emmy is like, no, not for me anymore. And I'm like,
that's funny.
I'm like, that's cool, that's fine, you do your thing. But then I start put on this the one where Mario turns into a giant cat for Addie, and then Emmy saw this and she was like just transfixed. And then since then she's been bouncing on the couch for like every day nonstop saying, I'm Mario, like jumping like it's a Mario level. It's very cute. But then they saw like the longer video and they were just like basically screaming like their heads off seeing this stuff. So I couldn't really pay too much attention to it.
Well, like a second player can be Bowser Jr., so I don't know how in depth that is.
Right, you never know with Nintendo games. You always think that they're going to be super simple, and they're not necessarily always like. It's not always conducive to an adult playing with a young kid. It's sometimes like an adult playing with an 8-year-old or a 9-year-old or something like that. So I'll have to see how that works. But
hey, we got the 279 Canadian from RDX, son of a fet, says Brad Sams talked today about an Azure update for Xbox.
I don't know. I don't know the details there. I'll have to look into it. But I mean, I think that that's imminent. That they are planning to update. Xbox, like the Xbox server shards that are on their cloud are the time when they're going to move from Xbox One S shards to Xbox Series X is imminent. So yeah, I'm not surprised by that. I'm sure that's coming.
Was that
soon.
really going to be something that's going to? Am I going to notice a difference when that happens?
No, you don't play on the cloud, so no.
Oh, okay then.
And if it's different than that, like if it's maybe he's talking about something different, you probably still wouldn't notice. It's going to be maybe more efficient. Who knows when like you do get stuff in from the cloud? Like there's some stuff that happens with Microsoft Flight Simulator brings in a lot of data from there, but that game already runs well. It's not going to maybe it'll be able to do more in the future. We'll have to see. I'll have to check out that Brad Sam's report and find out for sure.
Why is everybody doing a copy pasta in our chat about Elden Ring?
Oh no, it's got to be coming. You know what? Don't even acknowledge him. Don't even look him in the eye. Pretend you can't see him, Mike.
We're not talking about. Do you have anything to say about Elden Ring? Because people are still just going on about it.
Last week is what I said about it, and I'm not going to say anything more. No.
Yeah, look, we don't know anything else about Elden Ring.
Yeah, not right. I mean, listen, people are talking about that artwork. I think I have seen it. I don't know if I've seen it like where it was leaked by y'all, but yeah, I've seen it. I think that there's probably something there, but there will be more to come with Elden Ring. I don't think we're gonna have to wait that much longer.
I hope not. Yeah. I really hope not, just because.
Yeah, I know, right? This is what the show's becoming. Here's what I'll say. Here's something I can say. I will explicitly say that I was explicitly told that we shouldn't have to wait much longer. That the wait, like if you've been waiting a long time and you've been, like, oh man, I just can't wait for anything. I was told not much longer.
But I was also told every time people ask us about it from here on out, though, it gets delayed by another week.
I have heard that too. That
I'd be
that's
careful.
2 sources right there, people. So I'd be very careful. Okay. Let's see a couple more news things, and then we'll move on to some questions. Hogwarts Legacy delayed to 2022. Yeah, that's.
I didn't even know that was supposed to come out this year. So I'm like, that seems like a time for that game to come out. I don't know. Sure.
They're gonna do a big Resident Evil showcase next week, and they showed us some new gameplay. And there's a giant witch lady who I want to step on me, Mike. How about you?
Ew.
I mean,
no. I don't know. What is she, a hot witch lady?
I don't know. I don't know if she's necessarily.
You have a giantess?
Maybe I do now. I don't know. I didn't know I did, but she's a big witch lady, and I'm like, I'd like her to kill me. I think, yeah.
Okay, let's move on. Man, maybe I do want to talk about Elden Ring. That sounded pretty good now.
NPD. Yeah. So,
Yay.
did you look at the top 20 games of the year?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, a lot of interesting stuff.
I was gonna have you guess, but in that case, no.
I'm sorry. Yeah,
no,
I have it right here.
I could have warned you before not to look if I cared that much. Yeah. So lots of interesting stuff. But the top 2 games for 2020 were both Call of Duty games. Black Ops Cold War was number 1. Call of Duty Modern Warfare was number 2.
Yeah, I feel like we've seen that a bunch in recent years, where that's 1 and 2.
Yeah, at least 1, 2, but maybe 1 and 3. But yeah, because if a Red Dead Redemption comes out or something like that. Animal Crossing New Horizons though was number 3, even without digital.
Yeah. Without digital, it's only on one platform. It's pretty nuts that, I don't think anybody would have guessed going into this year that Animal Crossing would be the best-selling non-Call of Duty game of the year.
Yeah, I would not have guessed that. I would have thought it would have been in the top 10, but that's pretty wild. Right behind that's Madden NFL 21 at number 4, Assassin's Creed Valhalla at 5. Then
Assassin's Creed.
Yeah, I think it's where it needs to be usually for Ubisoft to feel really good about the franchise.
Well, yeah, but it's been. I feel like that's probably higher than what Odyssey was at. There's been an upward trajectory since it came back with Origins.
No, I think you're right. Yeah, but this is what they're aiming for.
Yeah, and I feel like we've seen years recently where NBA 2K was in front of Madden, or maybe I'm imagining that. But
you're right.
Yeah, so Madden back up at 4, and you don't see NBA 2K until 13 this year. I don't know what that's about.
I feel like maybe there was some backlash towards NBA 2K. Maybe there was just people waiting.
It looks like NBA was one of those digital sales weren't.
Oh right, yes.
things.
Take-Two stopped sharing their digital sales.
Okay,
That's what it is.
That just might be it right there.
That's what it is. That's right. Yes. That's why. That's why another notable omission is Grand Theft Auto and Red Dead Redemption 2. Grand Theft Auto 5 on this list every year from 2013 to 2019.
I'm kind of happy about that.
Yeah, it's gone, and it's gone probably just because, almost certainly just because they no longer share their digital sales. This is something they used to share digital sales, so we would see it on the chart every month, and now it's gone. My kid's playing with Legos back there. Sorry, I guess we just have to deal with it. Okay, so then at 6 and 7, we have Last of Us Part 2, and then Ghost of Tsushima. And then right behind them is Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, again without digital sales. Do you think if physical sales were included, Mario Kart 8 Deluxe would be ahead of Ghost of Tsushima or even The Last of Us Part 2?
Maybe. I tell you what, that would almost like look bad, right? Like even though it really wouldn't be like a detriment,
right. Yeah,
it wouldn't look great, right? Especially like there's a part of me that wants to be like, maybe this is low for Last of Us Part 2 for what that is and how much hype there was. But again, it's one platform.
I mean,
meanwhile,
Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. Yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
Go ahead. I feel like Ghost of Tsushima was punching above its weight as far as people thought it was going to come in, right? I feel like I thought that was going to be overshadowed by Last of Us. And here it is, just one step below it, right? Like it did very well.
Yeah, I think it, but like Mario Kart 8 Deluxe at 8, then Super Mario 3D All Stars at 9. Mario Kart 8 Deluxe also outselling the 3D All Stars, but both outsold Final Fantasy VII Remake at number 10, which again, like that's pretty wild. I think it just shows that again, like we've talked about this before, where Nintendo games are just on another level right now. They are just very like people cannot get enough Switch games.
Yeah, Super Mario 3D All Stars, a compilation that a lot of people criticize for not being a very good compilation. Number 9. I mean, I think 10 is still really good for Final Fantasy VII Remake, which is again a one platform game. But yeah, like Nintendo stuff is just it's insane.
Yeah.
Especially if you just look at the last month, it's so much Nintendo during the Christmas whole thing.
Well, we got a couple super chats. You want to read those, and then we'll do the bottom 10.
Yeah, well, it's RDX again. 280 says that Jez Corden says Ubisoft Plus will be on Game Pass, and I've heard that too.
Same here.
And then another 280. He said Hive Busters is gorgeous.
I want to play Hive Busters. I'm still planning to check that out. I've heard nothing but good things.
But yeah, I think I've been hearing people talk about this Ubisoft Plus on Game Pass thing. What do you think about that?
I think that makes sense. I think it's very likely. It's one of those things that like seems so obvious that I haven't even looked into it because it's like it seems like exactly what Microsoft wants to be doing with Game Pass Ultimate and stuff. So yeah. So Avengers, which like I think we all think it's kind of a flop, still at 11, which right,
it's not bad, but yeah, maybe it should be higher, right? Maybe that should have sold more than Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, right?
Yeah, I think that's kind of like I think if you're a game that has a budget like Marvel's Avengers and you're not selling them better than a single platform and only the physical sales of Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. I think I said earlier if it included the physical, that's right. No, it needed to include. It doesn't include the digital, and which would be even more, especially in the year 2020.
Yeah, Mario Kart 8 Deluxe might have been the 4th best-selling game.
It might have been, man. What the hell?
If it had digital included. Mario Kart 8 Deluxe.
Yeah,
a Wii U game.
Yeah, and we know that the Wii version of Mario Kart sold like almost 40 million copies, which again, another stratosphere compared to all these other games. But yeah, so Marvel's Avengers, I think it's probably okay at 11. Obviously, though, they've already said that they
already said it's not as much as they were hoping.
Yes.
So.
NBA 2K21 at 13.
Please skip Spider-Man.
I did skip because it said Marvel's at the beginning. Marvel Spider-Man Miles Morales at number 12. Pretty good for a game that was, I think, supposed to be kind of a DLC.
I think I know it's on PlayStation 4. I imagine a lot of people are like almost don't want to bother with it until they get a PlayStation 5, which I kind of think is smart.
Yeah.
So I imagine the majority of that is still PlayStation 5. I think a lot of people who got a PlayStation 5 got that game. I mean, in terms of like next gen games, like that's the first one we see on here, really, right?
Yep. Yeah, and I think I completely agree.
Unless you want to count Valhalla.
But no, because like that's cross-gen, right? I mean, I guess okay, you're right.
Well, so yeah,
so
but in the same,
you're right.
Yeah.
But I think that you are right, and to assume that Miles Morales has this thing where people are like, I'm going to wait to buy that game until I get a PlayStation 5 because that's where I want to play it. And I don't necessarily think that Valhalla would have that same thing. So I think you're right in your assessment that that's probably why it's right where it's at. Maybe it would have done better if it was just on PS4 and it came out last year or something like that. Yeah.
We have a super chat. Why don't we finish doing NPD and then I'll get to that?
Sounds good. Okay, NBA 2K21 at 13. We talked about that being digital only, or I'm sorry, physical only. Super
Seems
Smash Brothers Ultimate at 14.
also physical only, and also like yeah, the game's just gonna continue to sell well. We still have new characters coming out for it.
Yep.
That's just yeah, that's just another one. It's gonna keep selling well the entire lifespan of this system.
Yep. Number 15 is FIFA 21. Then we have Mortal Kombat 11, Dragon
That's
Ball Z
Mortal
Kakarot.
Kombat 11 is not a game that came out in 2020, and it's like all the other games here that are showing up from last year. You have like the Call of Duty game from last year, and you have Nintendo stuff. I feel like some people wouldn't necessarily think of Mortal Kombat in that light, but Mortal Kombat is so popular again. It's kind of incredible. I think the trailer for the new show or movie or something just came out too. So yeah, Mortal Kombat going real strong.
It is that brand that is just on it is on another level. Like we keep saying that, but like you're right. Like I for a long time I didn't, and then after doing MPD for a long time, it's like, oh, this is a game that when it comes out, often it is like already the number 3 best selling game for the year, things like that. So
That's another game. I mean, just had a really successful reboot when they made that. Well, Mortal Kombat 9, or I think it's just called Mortal Kombat. But after that, like people really cared again. They did a really good
and
job with
it's
that.
done a really good job of like refreshing itself with different age groups. Like there's nostalgia, but like when a new one comes out, like young kids are also still pretty excited about it because they know it's like that, it's that cool violent game that my dad likes or whatever, and it's actually still cool. So it's really hard to thread that needle. I think it's somehow this series continues to do so. Dragon Ball Z Kakarot at 17. Man, I forgot that game even came out. Man,
It came out.
Dragon Ball Z, huh?
I mean, Dragon Ball is another thing. It's still so popular that even though this game didn't get a ton of praise, some people liked it, and it was good enough that all of those Dragon Ball fans, of which there are many, picked it up.
Yeah, you know what I'll say? Like something I think like this is true for Mortal Kombat and Dragon Ball is that it's popular across demographics. So it's almost like the Fast and Furious effect, where like people like Fast and Furious does great in China, does great in America, and it has this like broad appeal. And I think these games do as well. Like Dragon Ball is very popular with like young black kids, for example. And I think that sort of that broad appeal really helps games sell. I think shows that there's purchasing power beyond just like very laser focusing your targeting demographic or whatever. MLB The Show 20 at 18.
MLB is the show. I feel like that's usually not one you see on here, but it got a pretty big boost this year when baseball was delayed, and that was right when the pandemic was happening, right? Like when typically baseball was about getting ready to start. A lot of people went to the game, and right now this is an exclusive to PlayStation, but they said they're bringing it to other platforms. I forget when, but that's happening. So MLB The Show is going to be getting a lot bigger soon.
Cyberpunk 2077 without any digital sales at number 19. For the year. It was number 2 for December. So the December MPD came out at the same time, and it was number 2 behind Call of Duty. And then Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 1 and 2 at 20. So I'm glad that made the list.
Yeah, me too. I'm glad that eked its way on there because I haven't seen too much indication to know like if that did well or not. And here's at least something like, okay, it did something for a $40 remake compilation to be number 20. It's not as high as say like the Crash Bandicoot Insane trilogy did a few years ago, but this is good.
A few other like just tidbits from the MPD. Nintendo Switch was the number 1 best-selling console for the year in terms of both unit sales and dollars. PlayStation 5 was number 2 for dollar sales. Unit sales number 2 was PlayStation 4. I think the Xbox there was no necessarily details from MPD, but I think we could sort of surmise that it did well, but also it's not doing as good as Xbox One, and that's just because of supply. It seems like supply is extremely constrained for the Xbox. I think that's probably a big part of that is the global launch. They launched it in more territories than they ever did before, so I think that's the big explanation.
You ready for these super chats?
Yeah, but real quick before the last news story, then let's do the super chats. Nintendo also had a Mario Switch, red and blue Switch with like Mario colors. So
I think it looks okay.
I like it.
I like it. I don't know why, because it should be bright, but it's almost too bright for me. My favorite version of Mario still is like that Super Smash Brothers Melee Mario, where his colors were a bit more muted. It was like the first time where they made his blue pants like actually look like denim overalls, and I thought that was so cool back in 2001. I thought that was the greatest thing ever.
No, I like the bright colors, and I think you're wrong.
I like the denim. Give me the denim.
I think you're actually just wrong here.
No.
Okay.
Give me
give me these super chats.
Well, we got $5 from Jackson Tinch. This is totally for you. Ordered my first PC 3070 build from NZXT with a 37. How do I say it? A
3700X.
3700X.
Oh my god.
Should this outperform the PlayStation 5/Xbox Series X on Valhalla, Call of Duty, or Hitman? 3070 reviews don't praise 4K.
So the reason that the 37 reviews don't praise 4K is that they're worried about the memory. I'm doing a podcast right now, kiddo. Hang on. It doesn't have.
We're gonna cancel her birthday soon. If she's not careful.
You better be careful, kiddo. It should outperform. I think especially Valhalla, Call of Duty is going to get DLSS, so definitely it's definitely going to outperform, especially when it gets DLSS. Valhalla doesn't have DLSS, but I still would expect it to do better in 4K. But even if you do 4K and you turn down the sampling rate to 0.8, you're still going to get more pixels probably than you'll get on Xbox Series X or PlayStation 5, and it should run probably at a pretty close to steady 60 frames per second. But yeah, they're just worried about the memory. I think it has 8 gigabytes or 10 gigabytes of GDRR6X, I think. I can't remember the exact specifications. I wouldn't worry about that too much. I think that card's going to do pretty good at 4. I'm using it to play Hitman 3 in 4K on my TV upstairs on the LG CX, and I'm getting right around 60 at 4K almost all the time, and it sometimes quite a bit more, and it's really great for that. More super chats, right?
Yeah, RDX, another 280. Says Indiana Jones Game Pass exclusive. I mean, it'll certainly be on Game Pass. It's up in the air if it's going to be exclusive to Xbox or not. At this point, you would think, Microsoft spent that money on it. It might be. What do you think? I would expect it to be Xbox exclusive, right?
I would expect it to be Xbox exclusive. I don't think that it's been determined at this point because, it's pretty early. The deal between Bethesda and Xbox hasn't closed yet. But once it does, I think it's going to be Xbox exclusive. It's definitely going to be on Game Pass no matter what. So it's even if it's on PlayStation 5, you're going to get it on Game Pass on day one. So it's already that's a big boon to that service. So yeah.
Yeah, we got another $7 from RDX.
Thank you, RDX.
He said there's more PlayStation 5 than Xbox right now because Xbox held back for full RDNA 2 feature, and so PlayStation 5 started production a year earlier than Xbox Series. I don't know. Is that true?
There might be something to that, but we know that PlayStation 5 is also having not a really hard time, but a difficult time with its yields of its system on a chip. There were some stories about that, right before it was coming out. As far as I could tell, that was true. So it's not like PlayStation 5 production was so far ahead of Xbox. They're having issues of their own. I just think that a big part of it is Xbox is, I think, in more territory still. And also the TSMC fabrications to get these systems on the chips, they're very busy, they're very booked. And so Microsoft just might not have booked as many of them as they needed to, or as many as Sony did, and so there's just fewer systems of chips to go in these Xboxes relative to the not just the PlayStation 5, but the Ryzen chips that we're talking about that use this fabrication, the Radeon.
There's just not dang chips.
There's not enough dang chips. Exactly. Anything else? Any other super chats?
I think that's it for super chats. We ready? Do you have any other with some Twitter questions to get to now?
There are some Twitter questions, and we'll get to those first. But first, we're gonna get to the Discord questions, which get first dibs, Mike. So in the Discord again, the links in the description there if you want to join it. There's I think each week before the episode, I'll put a call out for questions, and then
that's where Jeff actually confirms Elden Ring's going to be announced soon.
So you
better join.
There is a secret chat channel in there called Industry Secrets, but you only get into it if you're a Patreon member. But I'm not going to talk about the Patreon until next week. So
wait, we have a Patreon?
We don't have I have a Patreon for my How Games Make Money thing.
So we don't have a Patreon. You have a Patreon.
So when we say the word "we," there's a lot of things implied there. I haven't figured it out. It's the truth. That's why I don't want to talk about it this week. So
that's fine.
Yeah.
That's fine.
All right. So all right. Let me just bring up the. Oh, no, I can't because you're the videos through Discord. I can't remember who asked this, so I'm sorry. Do you think Nintendo has put the Nintendo? Oh, no. Okay, I think this is from Donnie. Do you think Nintendo has put the Nintendo Direct approach to rest for shorter game-specific YouTube trailers and tweets? If so, do you think this new approach is communicating Do you think this approach is communicating effectively or more effectively? What do you think, Mike?
No, I still, maybe it's more of a hope than what I actually logically think that real directs will come back once the pandemic is finally over. But I don't, it's weird because for a lot of it, you could say, oh, maybe there's not enough for a direct. But we know last year there was a point where they just spread out news over a 2 month period where all that could have just been a direct at some certain point, and it wasn't, and it was confusing. So part of me is like, yeah, I don't. Maybe Doug Bowser is like, I don't like those. We're not doing those as much anymore for whatever reason, or or somebody over at Nintendo Japan. It's weird because it was such a successful formula that everyone started copying it, and everyone started doing it more so when the pandemic started. And then Nintendo was the one that started shying away from the whole thing. So it's just, to me, it's just another one of those weird Nintendo doing something bizarre, and I don't know why things.
Yeah, I don't know if they put it to rest. I still think that there is going to be a lot of value to Nintendo in bundling up a bunch of stuff with their big announcements so that their partners can come along and say, we really want to be a part of that. It's like leverage for them. Like, hey, like if you put your game on Switch and it's a big game that we want, we're going to put it in one of our big directs, and it's going to get a lot of eyeballs that you would have a lot of difficulty getting for yourself, especially from Nintendo fans, from that demographic that is hard to reach because only we know how to talk to them. They want to keep the direct around for that, I think, but they might become more rare. I would imagine that the E3 presentation is branded as the big Nintendo Direct. Now, how many more of those do we get in a year? Maybe one, maybe two. So maybe they become more infrequent. I think that's possible.
Certainly, because we're going to be at that awkward spot again once 3D World comes out, where it's like we have no idea what's coming next,
right?
Except for new Pokemon Snap, I guess now. But
right,
I mean, we have to hear about Breath of the Wild 2 at some point here soon, right? And we have to be hearing about some other things.
Have to. You can't say the words "have to" with Nintendo.
Yeah, but you never know with them. Hey, we do have another super chat from RDX, another 280. Thank you, says Major Nelson. Plus Xbox 20th anniversary.
Yeah,
I don't know what I mean. What was there something planned there?
I think they just announced that he's been with Xbox for 20 years. I think he said so on Twitter today. So congrats to him. That's impressive. Like that he's been with.
I said that last week. I think I'm shocked at his longevity.
Yeah, you did say and it's it turns out it's 20 years long, and that's like almost like the Xbox is basically 20 years old. Like he's been there from the beginning, right?
He's been there for a long time.
That's it's and he's kind of been doing the same job too, which is like I think to me that's like weird, but I don't mean that in a bad way. It's just like it is strange to see someone hold that position and like
in this industry.
Yes, for such a long time. So yeah, congrats to him. That's cool. Let's see, from Laser Ace 7. This is from our Discord. Is there any monetary fallout with EA as a result of Disney making Star Wars games with different publishers now? So no, I think EA is totally okay with this, like going forward. I think that's what happened here. But also, the game is not going to come out until the deal expires.
The monetary fallout happened when EA tried to make an Ubisoft style open world Star Wars game and had to cancel it twice, right? That's where the monetary fallout happened. Yeah. So now EA can make the two series that they know they can kind of do well, like Battlefront 3, they can make probably a success at this point now, right? The shadow of this Battlefront 2 launch is gone. People liked Jedi Fallen Order, so that should be very easy to just make another one of those. Yeah. So I think they're fine.
I still hope that this deal allows them. I think it would allow them to, if they wanted to, if it was possible. They're not going to, but Knights of the Old Republic 3. That's not going to happen. But
it's upsetting, right? Because
for all the reasons you
BioWare,
yeah.
But why won't they? But I mean, again, they won't because it makes more sense for BioWare to be making a new Mass Effect and a new Dragon Age. RTX another 280 says EA will still make Fallen Order 2.
Oh yes,
and yeah. Oh yeah,
100%.
I mean, it's not, to be clear, it's not an announced game or something, but yeah, it's happening.
Yeah, it's definitely happening. They're working on it. It's coming. I can't get too like worried about Star Wars games because I've already had my heart broken because the Star Wars game I would want is like one that's like very much based on like living in the world and maybe acting as like a smuggler or something and dealing with
Star Wars Galaxies.
Yeah, but like, single player with like systems and like there's an economy and stuff like that. And EA was 100% making that game, and that's one of the ones they canceled. Like I talked to people that were working on it, and they're like, because I like put up a tweet like, this is the Star Wars game I want, and so people who were working on the game was like, well, we were making it, and then EA saw that and was like, fuck no. So it's like,
Was this the Amy? That's not the Amy Hennig one.
It's not the Amy Hennig one, no.
I mean, it sounds like there was a point where EA was like, "No, we need games with Jedi in them," and that's what we got: Jedi Fallen Order.
Yeah, and I get that too. Make that game for sure, but like, there's a lot of stuff you could do in Star Wars. But we're not going to get that.
I am glad that Mandalorian's doing well, because I think people are like, "Oh, there are things outside of Jedi."
That's a really good point. That's what people care about. Yeah. From Nick Turbo, is the March 12th leaked date for Mass Effect Legendary Edition accurate? I haven't checked, and this is one of those things where it's like, I said I would stop doing stuff about Mass Effect because the last time I did, it caused problems for the development team. But it's definitely in that range. I think that's, I wouldn't expect it too much later than that. So yeah. From Billy the Door, what does Todd Howard working on this Indiana Jones game say about Starfield and Elder Scrolls 6? What do you think, Mike?
I think it means that he likes Indiana Jones a lot and he can do whatever he wants, is kind of what I think about that. Right. I mean, he's so high up. It's not too hard to imagine that he's probably not very personally excited about making the Elder Scrolls 6 or, Fallout the 5th one, right? So I'm sure he still has decisions to make there, but I'm not super surprised that he's on board. I feel like it was a big part of the deal, right? It's like, we're going to get Todd Howard on it. Yes. His name's going to be attached to it because that's just how important this is.
And it's like, Todd Howard had those like Indiana Jones things before this deal was ever announced. Apparently he's like just a huge Indiana Jones fan. So I think they said that he's been trying to make this game happen for a decade. And so I
remember at the Fallout 76 press event that was in West Virginia, I remember like Todd Howard was not there. And the one guy's like, "Oh, Todd sends his best. He couldn't be here." I think they said he was sick or something. And we all kind of just like looked at each other like, yeah. Maybe he just isn't that excited about Fallout 76. I don't know.
Yes. I think you might be onto something.
Another 280 from RDX. PlayStation 5, get machine learning or VR or mesh shaders.
So I think that they'll definitely have some sort of machine learning, like upscaling that will be provided by AMD. And I expect that Sony knew they would need that. Like DLSS was pretty, like, it came out. They definitely have been designing the PS5, and it was well into the design phase when DLSS came out. But everyone in that space understands that AI upscaling is going to be huge and a requirement going forward to get to the next level of visual fidelity, because you want to be able to create a really low resolution image, upscale it. Everyone knew that was coming. Sony knows that's coming. Sony has engineers that totally understand that stuff. So I'd expect them to understand, like, they would need to have something in place to handle that, and they're working very closely with AMD. AMD is working on that. I would expect everything in the PlayStation 5 to be able to work in conjunction with that. I think VVR, I think variable rate shaders, is that what you mean maybe there? I'm not sure what the was a VVR. I'm not sure what VVR is. Maybe
you might have just meant VR.
VR. Okay, if it's VR, maybe, I don't know. That Jack or that Jim Ryan quote made me think that VR is like not especially important to them. It's not a beer this time, folks. It's just a Coke. What do they call them? Better.
It's called Coke Zero Sugar. Remember, you were the one who told me they're getting rid of Coke Zero.
I remember. I broke your heart. Yeah.
But it turns out they were just calling it Coke Zero Sugar, and it was basically the same thing, and I was fine.
DLSS is just too good, Kristen. I
guess they do mean variable refresh rate.
So yeah, variable refresh rate, I don't know. I hope they do. I've been using variable refresh rate on the LG CX, which I'm going to write about. I'll probably do a video about it. Everything with that TV is great, but having something that can do the variable refresh rate to get rid of tearing, to make sure that the jumps in frame rates are like really smooth, so you don't even notice them anymore. It's huge. It makes a huge visual difference.
There's no input lag when you do that?
It reduces that, but like the stuttering, like if a thing goes from like 40 frames per second up to 60 and then back down to 40, it's like that's worse than like a steady 40, right? But you still, like, you want as high of a frame rate as possible. This enables you to get as high as frame rate as possible without feeling that stuttering. When it's going from 40 to 60, it still feels really silky smooth, and that's it's G-Sync basically.
Anything to say about mesh shaders?
And then mesh shaders, I don't know. I think they have their own version of that. I think they don't necessarily need mesh shaders. I think they have their own implementation of that same technology. Okay, so where were a couple more questions. Vine Apple Pizza said, "Will Elden Ring be shown at an event or no?" I I don't know. What event it would be coming up? I know that people are like are wondering about that. Like, is there any major event that's coming up? I don't think it necessarily has to have its own event. I think we're gonna, or if it does, From Software could just do their own thing, or they could just work with Microsoft to say, hey, we need to announce this. Yeah. We'll see. If that game just got announced at a trailer on Twitter, it would do just fine.
That's enough. Enough Elden Ring.
Yes. From Zach, when a multi-year licensing deal gets done like the recent Star Wars Ubisoft one, is the balance paid to Disney upfront or yearly? Ubisoft doesn't seem very cash rich compared to EA. It's a good question. That might be something I'll look into, but my assumption would be it's probably paid quarterly. It is probably like put on the books, like, and saying, hey, we know that these are payments we need to make. But my guess would probably be like they would structure it in such a way that they wouldn't have to pay, however many billions or whatever it is. I honestly don't know up front. That wouldn't, I don't know if that necessarily makes sense. And then finally from Psylocke, what happened to Armored Core? Anything regarding that? Armored Core, that's another From Software game, right? No? Who made Armored Core?
I'm like doing the same thing now. What Armored Core? I feel like I'm mixing it up with something else, because to me it sounds like
what's the mech game that From Software made?
Oh yeah, that was them. Yeah, okay. That's Armored Core. Okay. I mean, look, the last Armored Core came out in like 2012. It looks like, or 2013. 2013 was like the last major one. So I mean, basically, it looks like they kind of dropped it once the Souls like took off, right?
Miyazaki is torturing himself right now. He's in a room somewhere, in between working on Elden Ring, and he's not doing very much of that because that game's never coming out.
Yeah,
but he's just trying to figure out how to make a mech Souls game. Like, he's just trying to figure out how to do it. He doesn't know yet. Yeah. All right, Mike. You know what? I should probably do a couple of Twitter questions. But
we can't leave them all completely behind.
Yeah,
even if they aren't paying you on your Patreon.
Well, these people aren't paying me either. The Patreon is open to everybody.
Sure.
I knew I'd alienate Mike with this stuff. I knew it.
I've been alienated for years.
Let me see here. I'm trying to get to the questions. I just forgot to bring them up.
I'm not saying anything. I'm not filling this dead air.
I can tell. I can tell it's a conscious decision by you
to suffer.
I can tell that you are doing this to me. All right. Let's see here. I think I got them.
I want you to hurt.
All right. So view more replies. Let's see. Let's pick out a good one.
Pick out a bad one.
Here it is from Zabit Katibi. Where are we going to see Elden Ring? I'm just joking, Mike.
God damn it, no.
They really did ask that though, but they're in.
I'm sure they did. How did you become the Elden Ring guy? When did this happen?
I think they're desperate for anybody. I don't know, Mike. I think
I think you're the one who has said the most, and these people
I've said
really
the most.
excited about their game, which I get. But
barely nothing, right? I've said barely anything. I've just said like, yeah, you're right. All right, so.
Hey, Danger Man wants you to answer his. Find his.
Danger Man. All right, Leo, I'm going to control F here.
It's on Twitter, I hope.
Yes. From Danger Man Leet. He says, with Jason Schreier mentioning that many 2021 titles being delayed, how many amongst them do you think will be delayed? Like God of War, Elden Ring. And will they be actually due to COVID or COVID being a cover? I mean, yeah, go ahead, Mike, please.
I mean, it'll be COVID a bit. I think a lot of it is people are going to be a lot more cautious because of Cyberpunk, right?
Yes.
Everyone's going to see it like, we may as well delay these things. And I mean, as far as what it could be anything, right? It really could. Any big game is susceptible to this.
Yes, I think you're right. Like you can't like COVID's not necessarily a cover. I think people will point COVID in a way that makes it feel like it's a cover, but COVID was definitely like the reason that things are still a mess for a lot of people. But I don't think. I think this is going to happen to a lot of games, but I think the Cyberpunk point is exactly what it is. People just don't want to be in that situation that Cyberpunk is in. I hope you guys can hear her singing.
I heard a little bit. It wasn't as good as my singing earlier.
It was, well, we'll see, Mike. All right. Let me see if there's one more, and then we'll move on. Oh my God, Elden Ring questions.
So much Elden Ring. Oh no!
Someone said something nice about it, but their question was about the March 12th release date for Mass Effect. But they said, "I love your podcast. It's become a weekly ritual for me, but except for Mike." I don't know. That's what they said. They might have said that last part. Okay, here's some of that. I just saw the word Nintendo. Let's get a little Nintendo in here, and then we'll talk about our games. Okay, so from After Sake, Phil Hell, what would your favorite weird Nintendo game look like? like Mario Kart Live or Rabbids plus Mario are his examples. It doesn't have to be Nintendo IP though. I don't necessarily know what that means. That's just their first question. You want to answer? Oh my God, their second question is an Elden Ring question. I regret even bringing this up. Okay.
Oh my gosh.
But we'll just read the first one. What's a weird Nintendo game that you want, Mike?
I mean, I don't know if it's weird, but I guess it's weird just because it wouldn't make any sense for them to do, but I would love them to make a Breath of the Wild style budgeted game, but with Star Tropics.
That's pretty weird.
I would just love them to see them spend that much money on bringing Star Tropics back. And it's like Breath of the Wild, but you're riding around on a dolphin and stuff, and you have a submarine, and it's all these tropical islands, and it would look gorgeous. Big open world. Yeah, that's all. That's like because at this point, it's like Nintendo does most of the things that I want them to do eventually, anyways. It seems like, I mean, except for weird things like F-Zero, which they just won't touch. But yeah,
right.
If they just made a Star Tropics game of any kind, I'd be pretty excited.
I just the dream is dead because Alpha Dream is dead, but I want Wario and Waluigi like
that's great. Yeah, it's so good.
A full game just based on them doing actually like really weird stuff. Like I would love that.
Any Waluigi game would be so amazing.
Yeah, for real. I just want a Waluigi like in a real video game at this point, not just the sports guy. Their third question, not related to Elden Ring, has Mike ever tried a Belgian beer?
Oh sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like all those simple Belgian German beers.
Yeah, the triples.
I'm a big fan of wheat beers.
Yeah, I some of my favorite beers is Belgian beer. I can't remember the brand right now, but there's like a triple I had that was just delicious. So like it's like the bottled kind that like you buy just the bottle and it's a big bottle and it has like almost like a cork in the top. Yeah.
Those are fun.
Hey,
RDX another 280 says Black Myth looks awesome. Xbox should buy them.
Is that the Wukong game, the Chinese game? I don't know what Black Myth is. I bet that's what it is.
Let me see. I had to look it up. Oh yeah, that is them Wukong. Yeah,
that does look
Wukong
awesome.
Guys.
It looks fantastic.
I
think they're Chinese developers. Go ahead, Mike. I'm sorry. What were you saying?
It's set to come out in 2023. Oh man.
Yeah, it's a Chinese developer. I think that would be pretty difficult for Microsoft to buy a Chinese developer. But that's I know what you mean though.
You have to like make a deal with like a Tencent or whoever owns them, and I don't know who owns them. Some they're called Game Science, people who make this game.
Pablo in the chat says a Donkey Kong first-person shooter with a banana gun. That's pretty good. I like that.
Well, it better fire in spurts, and if he shoots me, it better hurt.
God damn it, Mike with the rap. All right, you've been playing some games. I've just been playing Hitman 3 because I'm going to be reviewing it. I maybe could do some updates there, but I'm more interested in like hearing like what you've been playing. What you got for me?
Yeah,
Mike?
I'm still trudging along on Dragon Quest VII. After I took a bit of a break to play some other things, like I went back into it, and it was kind of fun and exciting again. Then it started feeling really slow again, and I'm like at the 55-hour mark, which almost doesn't sound that long for a JRPG, but for a PlayStation 1 era JRPG, and for the way this game is paced, it is, man. It feels like the longest game ever. I'll say that. And I think I still like it, but this is not the Dragon Quest that people should jump into first. It is long. It is slow paced. I'll have more to say once I beat it, which I don't think is going to be too much longer, although I have other things I need to play now. But I getting through that. One of the other things I did play when I was taking a break, because I've been in this whole beat 'em up kick because of Streets of Rage 4 last year, and I already talked about playing Streets of Rage 2. But one day during like the holiday break, I was just going through my Game Pass library, seeing what I could play, and I saw River City Girls there. And I was like, this game has really nice 2D art. I never really played River City Ransom, but yeah, I'll check this out. And I just played through that whole thing in like one sitting. It's like only a few hours, but still, that game is fun. That is a really fun beat 'em up.
I had fun playing that. I tried to play that game with Scratty Bones, a friend of the show. We tried using that Steam local like co-op thing over the internet. And he's in like that like half time zone on the Atlantic Ocean, like Newfoundland way over there, and he was too far away, and the connection just wasn't good enough. But what I played of it, I really liked. It seems like a good game, and I want to give it another shot.
Yeah, it was very good. So I had a lot of fun playing through that. And I know that, and it was actually played during Games Done Quick, and they had some of the Way Forward developers on there, and that was fun.
That's cool.
Yeah. Are you aware of like the whole Kunio-kun series? Like,
yes, Double
huge.
Dragon. Yeah, like the whole like.
Well, Double Dragon isn't really in there. It's like related because it was all Data East. but like super dodgeballs in there, and a
There
bunch of
is a
games
Kunio
we did
Kun
not get here.
collection that came out on Switch. Did it come to the
Yeah,
US? Did it come to the
yeah, I
US
think
eShop?
so, and it has a bunch of Kunio-kun and uh Double Dragon games. Double Dragon takes place in like it might be the same universe, but Double Dragon's like post-apocalyptic future, and Kunio-kun stuff is just like people in a high school.
Yeah,
Uh,
I've been meaning to actually like check out that collection. I heard good things about it. Almost got it from the Japanese eShop, but I'm glad it came out in the West. So
and I've also been playing Scott Pilgrim because that just came out again, right?
yes,
And yeah, that's a very good looking game. I think I am a little spoiled in terms of how well, say, Streets of Rage 4 and how well River City Girls plays. Like the combat here is just a bit like slower. There's so much you have to hit people a lot before they die, and they fall like you hit them twice and they fall down. So then you have to do like your first off nothing, and then eventually you get like the ground hits, and then you kind of hit them on the ground. Uh, so I got to get into it a little bit more, but right now I'm like, oh, Scott Pilgrim looks very good,
yeah.
and that license is obviously great, but it's not as much fun to play as a Streets of Rage or as a River City Girls.
I bet that's probably exactly kind of where it ends up. Is like, it's good that it's back. I know a lot of people really like it. But you know, if you come to it and you're like, and you're really liking it, and you're not necessarily liking it for the Scott Pilgrim stuff, there are probably better beat 'em ups now that you could be.
Yeah, well, I think it might also just actually be one that's a lot better playing with 4 people like it supports. That might help it a lot. Man, there are so many. Like the beat 'em up selection on Game Pass is surprisingly incredible.
Yeah, yeah. I really like Battletoads. I think that's a good
Yeah,
one.
Battletoads is good. You have River City Girls. I think Streets of Rage 4 is on there. You have even that Double Dragon Neon is on there, which I think I think that was even also way forward like 10 years ago. So there's a ton of stuff on there. I've been in such a beat 'em up kick. I even got that Capcom beat 'em up bundle that's on Switch. And I like me and my brother just played through the first level of every game on there.
How
They're
is
fun.
that? Because I've always wanted to get that. I always thought it looked really
It
appealing.
it is fun, and some of them are better than others. The problem with because they're all arcade ports, and the problem with that is that arcade beat 'em ups, like strict arcade ones, they're designed to get quarters and stuff, and they're not really designed around a consistent like difficulty curve like a Streets of Rage 2 would be, which was never an arcade game. Streets of Rage 2, you feel accomplished when you beat it at the end because you know that there were parameters that you overcame. Here,
Yeah.
it's just, well, I'm pretending to put quarters into this thing now, right? And I don't know how many quarters is a good amount of quarters to use to have to beat it in. But it's so fun to play through and to see things. There's the one on there where you're all playing in giant robots. That's really good. I forget what it's called, but it's really neat. Captain Commando's there. You can play as a baby in a mech suit, so that's nice. Yeah, I mean, it's fun. You have to kind of appreciate like very arcade style beat 'em ups,
Right.
but it's a neat collection.
Yeah, that's cool. That's cool. That sounds like a fun night playing all the first levels.
But if
So
you
is
like
there?
really want to play a beat 'em up right now, you should play Streets of Rage 4. You should play River
Right.
City Girls.
Yeah, cool. I mean, those are both excellent games. Give me the update on Valhalla.
Yeah, I've been enjoying it still. I've been feeling more positive about it even than last time. It's a game that's nice to play every bit here and there, run around, do some quests. Again, I think I'm happier because I decided I'm not going to do the things I don't like as much,
Right.
specifically the dumb side quests. And there's like papers you can chase. You have to chase them through very specific parkour lines, and it's really annoying. And you lose them, and all you get is a new tattoo design. I'm like, I don't care about tattoos. So and it's hard because it's on the map, right? And it's a map game, and there's that icon, and you want that icon to go gray, so you know that you did it. But I'm just like, no, I don't care. I don't need to collect a tattoo design that I'm not going to use. It's okay.
I mean, it's
I
weird
love the
because
dice.
it's weird because you love some of the tattoos in real life. Like no, people don't know you're covered in tattoos
I
almost entirely.
I want to get an Epcot tattoo. I'm just literally too hairy for it. Unless I put it like on my forehead, it wouldn't show up anywhere. Like, what, I'm gonna put a tattoo here, like under all this? Like, give me a break.
You got to incorporate the hair. You got to find some way to incorporate it and like have
I'll get a Sasquatch tattoo.
Yeah, okay, yeah. Like no, you're right. It's
Wrong.
yeah. Um, I've decided, like, I keep like having it like right there in my periphery whenever I turn on the Xbox. I'm like, oh, I should go back to it, but I've decided I'm not going to, and I'm just gonna play Yakuza instead. So because I'm enjoying
Yeah, if
enjoying
it's I want
Yakuza
to
a
play
lot.
more. I think I like Valhalla more than I like Immortals, to be honest, which
Oh
I'm a little
yeah,
surprised by.
I bought Immortals to play on Switch, and I like it, but I am very much in the this is fine camp, and I think I got sucked up into the hype. Like I enjoyed it when I played it in the preview, and I had this in my head like, oh, it's gonna be this and so much more, and really it was just what I played, and it's like it is
Yeah, it
a
never
very
gets
much
much
Ubisoft
more
flavor of
involved
Zelda.
than that, huh?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah. What
it's okay.
does the humor annoy you like it did me?
I was expecting it to be so atrocious that I'm like, mostly I can ignore this, but it's not good. It's never good.
It's not good.
It's never good. It like the and it a lot of times it's they're just doing the voice that's like this is a joke voice, but the jokes aren't really good jokes. It's just
Right? Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
yeah,
So you're saying it's not atrocious, but even as you describe it,
it's
I'm
bad. It's
yeah,
definitely
don't
bad.
like
Yeah.
it.
Speaking
Don't
of
like
bad though, people they want to see our most recent tier list. We ranked Sonic's Friends. People should check that out. I had a lot of fun
Yes.
doing that.
Yeah, the Sonic Friends. The video's up now. I think the post on our on Gamespeak is going to go up this weekend, probably.
Okay, that's fine.
But yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Well, I got to put that together right after this.
the people who
'Cause
watch it
somebody
says
took
good
a
things.
sick day yesterday.
Yeah, I know. I was told. You know
They
what? And I went.
definitely weren't just playing Hitman 3 all day.
Well, I did that too. And you know what? And I edited that like last night before I went to bed, and it was like it was a very easy edit, and I totally should have just done it in the morning. Even when I was
It
like,
was, you're fine.
it
I'm
was so
joking.
yeah. Either way, I'm like, oh, this is
I
a
want to
lot less work
clarify,
than
it's
I
completely fine.
thought.
Our tier list where we get to finally say that Silver the Hedgehog is an atrocity did not need to go up very soon.
I had seen images like that's the thing with Sonic Friends. Like you can't tell if you're looking at someone's OC or if you're looking at a real Sonic friend.
And so there's not much of a difference.
Yeah, it turns out that there's a very, very fine line between the two, and somehow Silver the Hedgehog or whatever it is on the side that this is official. Chip is still like definitely the ugliest, but I think I hate Silver the most.
I think I hate Chip the most still.
Chip
Got
bad.
Chip for freaking Sonic Unleashed, man.
Yes, yeah, we are spoiling it, so just go watch the video. But it's you had to know Chip was the worst. As soon as you open that video and you see his image, you know where.
I mean, the only reason Chip wouldn't be worse is if like I just forgot about him.
Yeah,
which
is
possible.
Yeah.
Not for me though. I hate Chip so much. I think he might have been the inspiration for making a tier list, just so I could really give it to Chip.
Anti-macros, like I feel Jeff really grew as a person during the Sonic tier list. He started out they're all bad, but by the end he really believed only most of them were bad.
Yeah, I did have to like be like, no, this guy's fine.
Yeah.
There was one that I wanted to put in the top tier that Jeff wouldn't let me, and I'll let you guys find out who that was. But
yeah, that was it was a good time. But I think
we're doing Sonic. We're just doing core Mario games next, right?
Yes, core Mario games next week. That'll be
which, to be clear, does not include Yoshi's Island. If that bothers you, yes, Yoshi's Island would be a top tier game in whatever thing it is in, but not this one.
I won't do this unless Yoshi's Island's involved. I'm joking.
We had this conversation.
I know, and yes, and I've come to agree with you. And you're the one making the tier list, so it's not like I get any control there.
I can do whatever I want.
You can do whatever you want. I think that'll be part of it. It's like me seeing like what you end up putting in there is core Mario's. I know we had this conversation. I can't remember exactly.
I know it. I figured this out a lot. I know it's core Mario.
I like the confidence. All right.
My favorite ever was like our one friend was like, Mario Sunshine's not a core Mario game because I don't like it.
We have a whole video. I think where is that video? That might be on the Venture Beat channel.
That was a while ago.
I should just download that and put that on this channel. We had a conversation at PAX about core Mario games. People should search that out. Maybe I'll put that in the description for the podcast or whatever. But yeah, all right, we should get out of here. Mike, let's start. Wait, you know what? I didn't set that button up. I still have the Christmas outro here. That's not going to work. Tell people where they can find you on the internet.
You can find me at Gamespeak.com. My new retro beat is actually about River City Girls, so if you want to hear me just praise that game some more, you can go check that out. And yeah, also check out 90s Disney at 90sdisney.com, our 90s Disney podcast. I think we're going to be doing a little fun episode about our favorite bars and lounges in Disney this week, so that'll be fun. And yeah, I'm on Twitter at Tolkoto, TOLKOTO.
I'm Jeff Grubb on Twitter. You can find me there. Reach out to me there. A good way to reach out to me now, though, is the Discord. Although it's not perfect right now because I broke my phone that has my 2-factor authentication, so I can't log onto Discord on anything except for my PC, and I'm working on fixing that, but that's going to be a minute still. So whenever I'm on my PC, a good way to contact me is Discord. The link to that is in the description for both the podcast and the YouTube video. So if you're watching that, click there, join us, come hang out. Other podcasts, How Games Make Money. Check that out. A new episode should be coming up next week, if not the week after that.
Don't forget to plug your Patreon.
Yes. Again, I'm not ready I'm figuring that out. That is changing. It was just for How Games Make Money. I think it's going to be for like my stuff.
The Jeff Grubb Radio Network.
Yeah, the Jeff Grubb Radio Network coming out live to you with unpaid sidekick intern Mike Minotti.
Oh no! Oh god!
Mike,
no,
if you want to get paid, you're going to put clown makeup. What's that?
Nick's right in chat. I'm going to make an OnlyFans, and you're not getting any of that money.
Okay.
Somebody has to be into hairy shoulders, right? Look at that.
It's beautiful. Yeah,
That's
you could put a tattoo.
right
you could
there.
totally put a tattoo
That's
there.
For $10 at least.
Here's what you could do. You could just leave the hair, the hair on the shoulder, and then my face is everywhere below that, so it looks like my hair. All right.
Okay.
Yeah. Yes. Right there. Yeah. I think everyone likes that idea.
All right. To be honest, it already looks like you just like this.
Yeah. That's yeah. You know what? That is me right there. Christian's right. And he fixed the Discord server and got no money. So yeah, Christian in the chat, he's done a good job of like organizing everything, and he will remain unpaid. That's just how it's gonna go.
That's how it goes.
Yeah. It's unpaid labor.
You're worse than Game Explained.
Yeah. Apparently, man. I just saw like there's some like a lot of stories now like detailing all that stuff. I had only heard vague things before that. I'm like, oh, I'm gonna have to read this stuff. Apparently, it seems pretty bad. All right.
Christian said a swear word. I have to manually allow that to go through the chat.
Yeah.
We allow the F word here.
Yeah,
we like the F word here.
We love the F word here. We are Americans for more swearing.
We are strongly passionate about it.
All right, the music's playing us off. Everybody, we're out of here. I'm gonna start finding the buttons to end this thing. Goodbye. Thank you everyone for listening. Until next week, have a good one. Take care of yourself and goodbye.